And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Union Catholic live stream. Our episode of In the Vault for today. We're in season 5. We just had another episode of Viking Sports today. Thank you to Gabby Ziegenball and Sabrina Hackett from the girls basketball team for joining us today. And thank you to Megan Falvey of the bowling team and also one of our key members of our live stream program for joining us earlier for an interview. So we're going to talk a lot of NFL today. We're into the NFL playoffs, the wild card round, as they're calling it now, the super wild card weekend. We've had a lot of big coaching news in the NFL, college football, so we'll get into that, and then we'll talk a little bit of NBA at the end of the show. And then after today's In the Vault episode, we're going to go and cover girls basketball. You have the varsity team taking on Hillside at 4 o'clock, and then the JV team takes on Hillside at 5:30 p.m. So let's get into NFL wildcard weekend. There's 6 games. We're going to go through each of the 6 games, preview them, make some predictions, and then we'll talk about the coaching situation in football. So we're going to go in order of the schedule. There's 2 games on Saturday. There's 3 games on Sunday, and there's a Monday night game. One of the games is on Peacock. I would love to talk about that and how I feel about it, but we don't have time for today. So Miami and Kansas City on Peacock on Saturday night. Great job, NFL. Great job. So the first game, which is going to be on NBC, Cleveland Browns are the number 5 seed, wild card, 11-5 record.
11-6.
Right, they play 17 games now. 11-6 record, the number 5 seed, the first wild card at the AFC. Playing the number 4 seed, the AFC South champions, 10-7, the Houston Texans. Cleveland is a 2.5-point favorite on the road in this Saturday afternoon matchup. So, Jacob, we'll start with you. Have at it. What are your thoughts on the Cleveland-Houston matchup?
I love this game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Looking at it, it's perfect because you got a great offense on the Houston side of the ball. You know, some injuries, but Stroud is starting to get going again. Just a great offense over there, and the best defense in the NFL on the other side, or one of the best defenses in the NFL with Cleveland. This should be a fun matchup. You want to see how Flacco plays. I didn't personally agree with sitting Flacco last week. I know you had the 5th seed wrapped up, but he's only played 6 weeks. He's an older guy, so that's probably why you sat him. But you want to keep him hot, right? So I would have kept him in there, to be honest. At least for some.
You consider a 38-year-old guy to be older?
Well, older for the NFL.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I would have felt the same way if you were in there, okay?
Brady was 45.
Look, I think he should have at least played a quarter, maybe a half. But he didn't. So I think as long as he can stay Flacco,
I think it's the right move. He's a veteran.
Yeah.
He
as long as he keeps doing what he's doing, he's not protecting the football, but he's just airing it out, and that's what's worked for them. And I could see them winning this game if he continues to do what he's been doing. That defense, I think, can shut down Stroud, Myles Garrett, who's on the other side, Zadarius Smith. Just great defense all around.
Can we pump the brakes on the Houston Texans?
Yeah,
they're in that
I
garbage
think
division.
They're a year away. They're still a year away.
Oh, my God. I mean, it's on and on about them. Like, it goes back to, I know I harp on this all the time, but it's just people either fall in love with a team or a player or a coach, or they go the other way, and it's all because, Houston. I mean, look, they're building something. There's a lot of positives there. I love Cleveland in this game. I think Cleveland's going to take it to them. I think Cleveland, I don't know about a double-digit victory, but I can see like a 10-point victory for Cleveland. I think they're going to take it to them.
I have much higher aspirations for this Browns team this season.
Houston's going nowhere.
So, yeah, Houston goes home easily this game. I think it's a little closer than 10 points. I think it's closer than people think, but I have Cleveland winning it. Yeah.
I mean, Stroud. Is my mic even on? Okay, yeah, it is. It was a little quiet. I mean, Stroud's been feeling it, but Joe Flacco, he's been on a little bit of an insanity run, so it'd be cool to see him keep it up into the playoffs.
I think that this is really C.J. Stroud's first huge opportunity to prove himself in the NFL. I mean, he's been one of the most standout rookies this year in a class of amazing rookies. Let's be honest here. But I think that this is really his chance to show what he's made of after leading the Texans to a division title. I think that I'm still taking the Browns in this. Maybe a pretty close game. I mean, you got an above-average offense with one of the best defenses in the NFL. I think that'll just their defense is just gonna put a stop on them.
And we can't overhype the fact that the Houston Texans are AFC South champs because that was handed to them by the Jaguars losing that game.
Right.
Jaguars win that game, that's their
The
division.
Jaguars just
Exactly.
folding this season.
8-3, and you're 8-3. You disrespect a terrible towel, and now you're 1-6 in your next couple games. But we'll get to that later.
Oh, stop with the terrible team. Another team that sneaks in the playoffs because Baltimore didn't have to play for anything.
So Flacco,
Stop.
looking at Flacco, like he's thrown 1 interception, 2 interceptions, 3 interceptions. This is in order of the games he's played, and then 1-1. So he's throwing interceptions. He threw 8 in 5 games. He's not protecting the football, but in 4 of those 5 games, he's thrown for 350 yards plus.
He threw for 300
Exactly.
yards against the Jets in the first half.
So he's airing the football out. That's exactly what this Browns team needs. He loves Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper lost me in fantasy because he had 50 points in 1 week. So this offense is clicking. It's just working with Flacco. He's in the right system, and it's perfect. So I think as long as he continues to air that ball out, throwing some interceptions, it's okay.
I don't know
think
how
they'll be
I'd feel
perfectly fine.
about. I don't want to say Cleveland's run because they've had a very good season. They've overcome so much. It's not really a run minimizes it, but I don't know how I would be thinking about them in the wild card round if they were playing a better, more experienced opponent. I think this matchup
Defense
sets up.
Defense is very good.
But I think this
the
matchup
defense
sets
is
up
so nice.
very well for them. It's a combination of their defense, their resilience, their coaching, Joe Flacco. But then I think the matchup's really good. If they were matched up against someone else, maybe I feel differently about the game. But this just, I think, bodes really well for them. I'm looking at ESPN. We have ESPN in front of us on the laptop, and they have the metrics. I'm so tired of the metrics. I could go on and on. College basketball metrics. We gotta get to that one day soon because it's ridiculous. But you got the metrics of the NFL. It says FPI, whatever that means. The Browns have a 50.5% chance to win the game outright. What? You're saying it's a 50-50 game? Come on. I mean, that just disproves the metrics right there. To me, this is a 60-40 game.
You're riding the recency bias of this Texans team. D'Amico Ryans has obviously had a great
Recency
first
bias
season.
of beating the Indianapolis
Exactly.
Colts.
You've had there's recency bias when there shouldn't be.
And they
you're talking
struggled
about
down. They lost to
Stroud.
the Jets.
Exactly. Well, was that with or without Stroud? That was with Stroud, I believe. Or he got hurt in that game. But he got blown out by the Jets.
He got waxed by the Jets.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
And there's games that they've performed well, and there's games where they've been terrible. And I think this could be one of those games. It's easily the Browns in my eyes. And like I said, I have much higher aspirations for them, but we'll get into that. I don't know if we're going to get into
I've never felt more confident about a playoff game saying Browns.
Well, I don't know if we're going to get post
Dallas
wild
over
card round.
Dallas over Tampa maybe last year.
Yeah.
But it was even Tom Brady. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if we're going to get post wild card round, but I have a lot higher wants for this team, this Browns team.
Oh, yeah.
You know about
Oh,
this.
I
Yeah, I'm
know.
not as high as that
I hate
post
it.
wild card round, but we'll save that if they advance. Which, again, I think all of us sound like we're confident they will. Miami and Kansas City. Miami struggling. They've been laboring. They only have one win against a winning team this year. That was against Dallas. They beat them 22-20 in Miami a couple weeks ago. This game's going to be played supposedly in sub-zero temperatures on Saturday.
It's now no
Great.
good for Miami.
Great schedule in NFL, playing an 8 o'clock game. I know it's 7 o'clock out in Kansas City when it's sub-zero temperatures. I know you got to have that game in prime time. You got to have it on Peacock. So great job, Roger Goodell. You're always doing the right thing. So Kansas City Chiefs are 3.5-point favorite in this game. Two teams that are struggling. Like Kansas City has labored all year. They benefited, let's be honest, from being in a weak division. They still got Mahomes. They still got Andy Reid. They still got Travis Kelce. Like they're still a legitimate team. But what do you see in this game?
I never thought I'd say that the problem for the Kansas City Chiefs would be offense, because that defense has played better than it's played in years. But Patrick Mahomes had the worst year of his career, let's be honest. Travis Kelce had the worst year of his career. He's got no receivers other than that.
Maybe Travis Kelce needs to focus a little more on football.
I agree.
Just saying.
So I think the NFL needs to focus more on football. But that's a different story.
Roger Goodell, I hope you're watching. We should get him
anyway,
on. Let's get him on the program.
Both these teams are struggling. Both 11 wins. It's really hard to pick this game. I think it comes down to the weather. I was talking to Mr. Lambert about this before. He said he knows the Dolphins well, obviously. Big Dolphins
We should have
fan.
got him on today.
Yeah, I thought about it.
If they win, let's get him on next
Yeah.
week.
Big
I don't think they're
Dolphin
going to win,
fan.
though.
But I don't think this Miami team from Miami is going to be able to play in
They've
sub-zero.
lost their last 10 games, 40 degrees and
No
below.
way. No way they can play in this. I think this Chiefs team, as much as I just said that they have been struggling, laboring all year, I think they can still make a run with the way the defense is played. You get Mahomes right, you get Kelsey right. That's all you need. I think they can still make a run. I'm going to go with the Chiefs pretty easily in this game. 7, maybe 10-point win.
Yeah. Yeah, I look at them both as teams that are just laboring, but one of them obviously has to win the game. If the game was in Miami, I pick Miami. Despite Miami struggling, I mean, in Miami, I would pick the Dolphins, but the game is in Kansas City, so yeah, I think Kansas City. Again, they're 3.5-point favorites. I think they'll wind up winning double digits. I'd say like this will be like a 10 to 14-point victory of Kansas City. I'll go with a 10-point victory.
I mean, I'm looking at Miami's depth chart right now. It's just filled with questionables. You got a doubtful.
Yeah, they're
questionable,
decimated.
questionable, yeah, a lot.
Tyreek's
They're
not
really
fully
beat
healthy,
up.
whether it's listed or not.
Yeah, they're really beat up. So I'd probably take Kansas City on this.
I don't know. Kansas City's hard because I think they could just win this game. I also last week when I was rooting for the Steelers to get in, this was the matchup I wanted. So I don't really know how to feel about this, but I think there's still a way that this team can make a run. The way the AFC's been all year, I think there's still a way, but I think they win this game. I don't know about the future after that, but I think they win this game pretty easily.
You can't count them out.
Can't.
Yeah.
But most of their star players have been terrible.
Kadarius Toney.
Yeah. You can't. Yeah. You give them the benefit of the doubt to a degree, but I don't. You got to be careful going too far with that. And I think it's a nice matchup for them round one. You know, they're just playing a Miami team that's decimated by injury, that has struggled, really hasn't proven anything against good teams. I think this bodes well for Kansas City.
I would agree. I mean, you'll never really find a bigger Miami defender than me. I have loved watching them all year. They've got one of the most electric offenses to watch in the league right now. However, I don't think they're going to make it this year. I think that, they're playing in sub-zero temperatures. I mean, they play in Miami. They don't see below 70 most of the time. I think that if they were playing in a warmer temperature, maybe like week 5 when half their team wasn't, questionable.
Well, they lost to him in, what was it, Germany? Yeah, so that was a controlled climate, right? That's indoors? Yeah, so they did lose him in the regular season. But I said before, if the game was in Miami, I think Miami would win.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the just where they're playing in general. I mean, they're playing at like 7 p.m. in Kansas City. I think if it was a home game, I agree with you. I'd take Miami here, but I can't defend Miami here.
As much as I think it's ridiculous scheduling a game at night when you're going to have those temperatures, and in the Midwest this time of year you're going to get frigid temperature. I mean, Lambeau Field, the same thing in Green Bay. But it is kind of cool watching those cold weather games with just all the ambiance of it. So it's fun, I think, for a fan if you're watching at home. But I mean, to be there in those type of temperatures, that's just brutal.
I mean,
so yeah,
you talk about every NFL team. Obviously, the goal is to win a Super Bowl going into the season. But I think the realistic goal of this Miami Dolphins team, and I talked to Mr. Lambert about this too, was winning a playoff game this year. And I don't think they're going to be able to get there. I like what they're doing. I like Evan said, that offense is the most fun offense to watch in the league when it's right. McDaniel's great. I love what he draws up, but I don't think this is it. I think there's still. I'm not gonna say they're a year away because they're a good team, but I just don't think this is their year.
I don't think they have a head coach. I think they have a super offensive coordinator.
I agree.
That's a whole other topic, though.
Absolutely.
We've talked about that a lot. But I think that plays in, though.
I agree.
You got McDaniel versus Andy Reid. I'm taking Andy Reid every time. Andy Reid's a football coach. He's one of the best head coaches of all time. So,
I like to
people
put it as-
love the new thing. But it's like, look at the results. Look where Miami is now. You can talk about injuries, but there's a ton of injuries in the NFL. You can't use that excuse. Look at Cleveland. Cleveland's had how many quarterbacks this year?
Exactly. 6. I've described it as this. McDaniel is a football mind, and Andy Reid is a football coach. Okay? There's a
I'd rather
difference.
have a coach.
There's a fine line.
But Andy
I'd
Reid's
much rather have a coach,
Andy
too.
Reid's a football mind, too.
No, I know. He's both. But McDaniel's just the mind. He's not the coach.
Yeah, but it's like, but I think like a guy like Andy Reid, like his mind gets minimized. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, we'll move on from that's a whole nother conversation. But we're all in agreement on the first 2 games, Kansas City and Cleveland. So let's move on to Sunday, and it's the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Buffalo Bills.
Oh boy.
Will we go back?
Buffalo's
to
a
back to back in
10-point
agreement?
favorite.
Stop doing this to me. Every year this happens. Just sneak in. You get waxed in the first round by some great team. Look, I want to make a case for my team here, but without TJ Watt, there's no case to be made. I think if this is an if, and if Elias was here, he'd yell at me playing the what-if game. But if TJ Watt plays this game, I think there's a whole heck of a lot better chance.
If Aaron
that the
Rodgers
Steelers-
was the Jets quarterback, they're
Okay.
probably better this
Exactly.
year.
But I think the way that Josh Allen plays, forcing the ball down the field, creates so many turnovers that Steelers are just getting healthy. They get Minkah Fitzpatrick back from injury. They're getting DeMonte KZ back from suspension. That's your two starting safeties right there. If you could create turnovers in this game from guys like that, then you have a shot. Now, without TJ Watt, that's going to be a lot harder to force Allen into making throws he doesn't want to make. So I don't think they win this game. I'll be honest, I don't think they win this game. But I think it could be a little closer than you expect. It's going to be snowing. The weather's going to be bad. I think that this is just going to be one of those slugfests that we see. I think it's going to be low scoring. It's going to be a lot of defense. And I don't think Mason Rudolph has a chance to get it done. I think he could get a chance in this game to get it done, but I don't think he can. I don't think Pickett has the chance, and I don't think Trubisky has the chance. We'll get into that in the offseason, but I don't think the Steelers will win this game, but I think it'll be a lot closer, and I think they'll have an opportunity to. I don't think they'll capitalize on it. That's my true opinion on this.
Bills are just a better team. There's not really anything else to say about it.
You have to think about it. Don't let it overhype the fact that the Bills are the 2 seed, because a month ago they were out of the playoffs
A few weeks ago, Pittsburgh lost to Arizona and New England at home.
at home.
And then they beat Cincinnati, who doesn't have Burrow. So we want to talk injuries. They played a Cincinnati team without Burrow. They played a Seattle team that was mediocre this year. And they played a Baltimore team that rested everybody. You could play those games.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the only reason they
And
have
Buffalo
no shot
has
is 'cause of TJ Watt.
legitimately turned it up and played really well. I'm not sold on Buffalo. I'm with you. Like, they're the 2 seed, yeah, but they struggled a lot of the year, but they played really well late. They didn't play too well against New England in their second to last game. I'm not going to make a big deal about that because then they bounced back and they won at Miami and won the division. So I'm with you. I'm not ready to say, oh, Buffalo, yeah, they've gotten over that hurdle and they faced all this adversity and now their window's open back up because beginning of the year a lot of people were saying their window closed, and I pretty much said that. I said, you know what, I think I didn't say definitely, but my opinion was that there was a good possibility that their window has closed, and you look at what they've done in the playoffs, they've come up short. Last year they had a really tough game at home. They got blown out by Cincinnati in divisional round. So Buffalo has a lot to prove here. So I think they're going to win the game, but I think Pittsburgh's going to be competitive. I think with their defense and just overall what they usually do, I don't expect this to be a blowout. The line's -10. I kind of like that line. Like I think Pittsburgh will stay in the game. It'll be a game. I think it'll be a game for at least 3 quarters. And then I like the line. Like, I think eventually Buffalo's going to win by about 10, but it'll be a competitive game.
I don't know. I think, like I said, low scoring, just slugfest, 17-14 maybe, somewhere around there. The conditions, the way that the Steelers are going to come at this game with all defense, I just think it's going to be a low scoring game. Where the Bills still win, but it's a lot closer than you think.
I think it'll be a game where it's like it is, maybe it's 17-14 at the end of 3 quarters. Yeah. I'm just tacking on, okay, at the end, Buffalo drives, and maybe they win the game 24-14 or 27-17. But, yeah, I think it's going to be a one-score, one-possession game for most of the game. Pittsburgh's gonna do their thing, and coaching-wise, I take Tomlin over McDermott. Like, I think there's value there. So I think Pittsburgh will be very competitive. I think it's going to be very tough for them to go to Orchard Park and win that game.
I mean, talking about Tomlin, I'll defend this man with my life. I love Mike Tomlin. But it needs to start to change. Just all these Steelers fans talk about the standard, and people get all over them about it. Your standard can't be 7 seed, 10-9 wins with poor quarterback play, and everything else is there. That can't be the standard. You can't continue to waste away this defense like you have for years. You're already getting Pickens to the point where he's starting to lose it. Deontay Johnson, a very talented receiver. You have all the pieces there. Najee Harris is starting to turn it up. He's got 3 1,000-yard rushing seasons in his first 3 seasons. Nobody talks about that. It's all there. You need to change the standard, and you need to go get a quarterback that's going to win you football games, like we saw with Mason Rudolph down the stretch. That's an all-season
Yeah, it's
conversation.
such a
though.
quarterback-driven league.
That's an
You could have
off-season
everything
conversation.
else. You could have the coach, all of it, and then you know the quarterback, and then you either don't win or you're a team like Pittsburgh, you make the playoffs, but are you really a contender to go to a Super Bowl? And again, I think they'll be very competitive in the game.
Those 3 games that they lost, Cardinals, Cardinals, Patriots, Browns, right? You're in every single one of those games, and the common denominator is that Mitch Trubisky threw 2-3 interceptions in each one of those games. You win 2 of those games, you're 11-6. You win all 3 of those games like you should have, you're 12-5.
Well, they were 10-7.
Yeah.
Yes, if they win
Oh,
2.
you're 12-5.
Yeah.
If you beat the 2 bad teams, you're 12-5. And if you beat the Browns,
if
who
you
you
want-
can easily
then
beat,
it-
you're 13-4.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to say, like, Baltimore should really be a loss because Baltimore didn't play anybody. So let's balance it out there. So let's say you win,
12-5. That's your
you know,
ceiling.
11-6, 12-5. Yeah,
That was your ceiling.
yeah.
Those 2 games, that was your ceiling.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's go Green Bay at Dallas. This is the 4:30 game on Sunday in Arlington, Texas. The Dallas Cowboys are a 7.5-point favorite. I think we probably could all agree that the pressure – there's pressure on Green Bay too, but the pressure is so much. I think there's always pressure on you no matter what.
They got nothing to lose.
They have a playoff game to lose.
Well,
But
yeah.
I know you're saying. So anyway, there's immense pressure on the Dallas Cowboys. So Dallas, they're the clear favorite in this game.
Oh, yeah.
But what do you guys think?
My sweet, sweet Prince Jordan Love. All right. He won back-to-back
So-
Offensive Player of the Week. Oh, my God. He's so good. He's
So
so
he's your prince, and then Riley's prince is
Trevor Lawrence.
not in the
He's too
playoffs.
He's
low.
terrible.
in the law.
Although
Remember that.
I picked the Jaguars to
Win the Super Bowl.
No, but we don't talk
What
about
else?
that. That's in the past.
Win it.
Water under the bridge. My sweet, sweet Prince.
I picked the Packers to go to playoffs.
You did, and I hated on you. For
My
that.
picks were I had some really good picks, and I had some ugly picks. I had the
Giants.
I had the Giants go to the Super Bowl.
That was a bad one.
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
Had one good year.
God. Packers, go ahead.
My glorious Packers. We've been really clicking. The offense have been clicking. You know, Jaden Reed's been doing well. I believe we're gonna have A.J. Dillon out for another week, which is really tough because he's really a workhorse. So you know, you don't really see like this type of injury from him. But Aaron Jones, he's been picking it up. We took a guy from the practice squad.
Third commandment. You violated it 3 times already.
Shush. You know, the guy from the practice squad. I don't even remember his name, but I know that we have a wide receiver. I'm just gonna keep doing that. It's just subconscious at this point. Wide receiver Bo Melton. He's been feeling it, and he's like a third string. Exactly. That's
Bo
what I
Melton.
said. I didn't even know who he was.
This is
We
like
just-
Jack with the NBA.
We just pulled him
telling
out.
us the water boy on the Blazers.
I didn't even know
He
where
probably
he came
knows who
from.
it is too.
I didn't even know where he came from, but the Packers offense has really been clicking. The O-line has been good. It's probably, in my opinion, it's like a top 5 in the league. If that's a hot take, but O-line has been great almost all year. And I don't know, the Cowboys are, you know, as they're a little fraudulent, but you know, obviously they're a good team. They have a
Little.
defense, but they have a lot. They have some key injuries.
Well, Joseph.
Well, Joseph,
Look, you know I love this Packers squad, and I love Jordan Love
don't say.
because he went and he was tied for the most touchdown passes in the league with Dak Prescott. And you know I hate the Dallas Cowboys. It's
do
been
this to
known
me,
on
Jake.
this show for 2 years now. I hate the Dallas Cowboys. But I'm going to put my hatred aside, and I'm going to say that I truly believe that this is the Dallas Cowboys' year in the NFC.
To win a wild card round. man.
To reach the Super Bowl.
Come on.
I love
Stop.
this team. Look at this team.
Stop.
Why do you have to
Oh,
do this to
come
me,
on.
Jake?
Dak Prescott in the MVP conversation for the second time in his career, right? Guys like CeeDee Lamb, 1,700 yards on the season, just completely came alive towards the end. They've won big games. They've lost some games, obviously the Dolphins, but you barely lose that game. You blow out teams that you're supposed to blow out. This is the year, I think, for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think they win it, but I think they reach it. And I'm sorry, I like this Packers team, but I think it's a year. I think there's still a year you need to get going there. I think they could cause some issues for the Lions. Everyone was talking about how it's the Lions' run. It's the Lions.
I'll stop with the Lions, please.
The next 10 years is all Lions.
Stop.
I
No. The NFC North is going to be the Packers division.
Yes.
It
Our
always
division.
is. It still will be.
Everyone's been saying
I'm so big on the Packers. The Steelers, again, with the Steeler way and all that stuff, I get it. The Steelers are a great franchise. I think the Steelers get too much credit. It's not that,
don't get enough.
I think they're a bad franchise. Obviously, they're a great franchise.
Yeah.
I think they get too much credit for what they do. I think the Packers don't get enough credit for what they do.
Where's the love at? I don't even know if where did the Lions play? Ford Stadium or something like that?
Ford Field.
Ford
yeah.
Field. I don't even know if their stadium is able to if they can even handle putting that banner up there. They have not done
There's not any
anything in
banners.
so long.
There's not any
There's 3
banners.
There's
banners
nothing
there.
there.
There's 3.
I don't even know. I don't know
1993
if it
NFC
could,
Central champions.
I don't know if it can support another one. It might collapse.
Look, like I said, all these Lions fans, it's finally our time. Here we go.
It's not.
Pump the
not.
brakes. You won the division once this year, and the Packers are going to run this again for the
Yep,
next
they
12.
are.
Oh yeah. And as a prophecy
And the Bears
says-
are on the move.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're feeling it.
I was talking to Mr. Luciano about this before. He said, who do you want to see as the Steelers quarterback next year? I said Justin Fields. He said, no. They're staying with that. They're sticking with that. They're going to make some moves, and they're going to be a good football team.
This dude also said that the Bears were gonna roll the Packers. Don't think I forgot that.
I could see the Lions. This is off-season stuff. I'm just going to say it. I can see the Lions in 3rd place in that division next year. Seriously. But we'll get to that in the
Who's the
offseason.
4th team?
Huh?
The Vikings. The
The
Vikings are
Vikings.
still around.
Vikings are around.
I told you that was one I nailed. I got that one. And they were 7-10. I think I said it last offseason. I'm going to take credit. I think I said watch Minnesota go 7-10 in 2023. So that one was really good. Giants go to the Super Bowl.
But final thing on the Packers, for Packers fans, it's a win-win. If we beat the Cowboys, then we get our annual whooping by the Niners. But if we lose to the Cowboys, then most likely Joe Barry's gonna be gone because the defense is atrocious. So it's a win-win for Packers fans.
There's a part of me that says if the Cowboys fall behind early, they're in trouble.
I think
And as
I
a
agree.
part of me
That's
that
how they've
could
been all
see
year.
an upset, but I can't pick it. I think Dallas is too good
It's their year.
to lose.
Lose the Super Bowl.
They're too good to lose this game at home in the wild card round. And the Packers, major respect for that franchise. They're on their way. They went from Favre. You go back in their history, Bart Starr. But you go Favre to Rodgers, now to Jordan Love. They're on their way. It's just, this isn't going to be the year. This was a great year for them. It's a building block. I think they'll be even better next year, and they're set up really well for the future to keep their franchise going as a great franchise. But Sunday's going to be Dallas's day, and I think the Packers will hang in, but I think eventually, I think the Cowboys are going to win this game by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I was going to go 35-17.
Jesus.
I think it's 17-17 at halftime, and Dak just gets going.
I could see that, yeah.
I can see a game like that. Like Green Bay hangs in there, but then Dallas eventually wins by 2 scores, maybe 3 scores, but I'll go 2 scores. Evan,
If I could just add something, I'm the biggest Cowboys hater ever. I mean,
who
Try
are you
me.
a fan of?
football just hasn't been a great year for me.
Who are you a fan of?
I like the Eagles, and so watching
didn't know that.
watching them
Oh, wait till
has
we get
been-
to them.
has been brutal, and it's
There's a lot of Eagles fans in this building.
I don't.
Do you have Philadelphia connections in your family?
My cousin, my entire cousin's family they're all Eagles fans. So
Are they from the Philadelphia area? South Jersey?
I honestly have no idea.
All right, so you guys,
they're
okay.
they're just all Philly fans.
Yeah.
So I've been watching them, and I mean the second half of the season they fell apart, but that's not what we're talking about here. It's the Cowboys.
An honest Eagles fan.
I'm the biggest Cowboys
Paul
hater
is.
ever.
Paul's very
Oh,
objective.
well,
We
yeah,
got to
I
get
don't-
Paul on here.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that they can genuinely make huge waves. And as much as I want to say, I've loved watching the Packers offense. I think they've been on the rise lately. I think Jordan Love has really, shown what he can do. And I think that next season they can build on that even more and maybe make it further. But, I mean, I'm saying I think the Cowboys are probably going to make at least a conference championship for the first time this century.
They're too good to lose this game. So let's go forward to the Sunday night game. This is the game.
Best game of the weekend, right?
Yeah, this is the best game of the weekend. Yeah, it is, right? It is. The Packers Cowboys game.
I feel like the
I
first
think
half
it's
is going to be
it's
great,
intriguing.
but then
The
after that,
nostalgia
it's going to be
feels
pretty
good.
bad.
Yeah, I mean there's intrigues. I think, but yeah,
Back to did Des catch it? That's what it takes me back to.
yeah. Well, all right. So Los Angeles, Detroit. Yeah, this I think a lot of people say this is the best game of the weekend. Sunday Night Football. Lions are a 3.5-point favorite. You have the Stafford Goff storyline. All right, so there's just a lot here to like about this matchup. Rams have been on a roll. Lions have had a very good year. What do you guys think?
Sorry, Lions. You won the division for once in every 35 years, and I think you lose this game. The Rams' offense just rolls over that defense. I got the Rams winning this game, and I think that the Lions just go in complete regression, and the Packers take over that division. I hate this Lions team. I'm honest with you. I hate this Lions team, and I think they lose this game and then just fall apart. Like the Lion way. The Detroit Lion way.
I think, the Lions' offense is half the reason I won any games in fantasy at all this
Amon-Ra,
year.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, Amon-Ra.
Amon-Ra.
I think Gibbs, the rookie, he had a great year towards the end.
Can we talk about Sam Laporta? Dog.
Oh,
Sam
Sam Laporta's
The
been
offense is there, but the
great.
defense is not going to hold up with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp.
I mean, I think Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and especially like Kyron Williams. Just this Rams offense, the Lions defense can't handle it.
Pick Kyron Williams off of waivers, and he scored like 3 touchdowns 3 weeks in a row.
I know. I did the exact same thing. I mean, I think I'm loving this Rams offense lately, and I think that they've got potential to they've also got potential to go really far. I can't see.
There's a pedigree with them. They won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They had a rough season last year. Nobody really expected to do anything this
I
year.
said they'd be terrible this year, and I
They
give
started
huge
slow.
credit to McVay. I mean, he had a great season this year.
Well, right there. How big is coaching? McVay versus Campbell. Campbell's like, he's the defensive version of Mike McDaniel. Like, he gets so much credit for being this great coach. I think there's just,
I don't know, he's way more of a football coach, though.
yeah, but like him, I think there's a lot of like, it's like he's your traditional football guy. I want to see how he could coach. So let's see what he does. I don't know. I don't watch enough Detroit Lions football. Like, I've watched it from time to time this year, but I can't tell you I know a lot about Dan Campbell as a coach, but I want to see it. We know what Sean McVay is. You know, so there's a lot of hype about Dan Campbell. I think he talks a good game. You know what I didn't like? I didn't like them going for 2 in that game, especially after they had the 5-yard penalty. To me, that's like showing like that's like to me that's a pride thing. You're back at the 7-yard, like, oh, we're going for it. It's like, well, you just lost your team
How
the
many
game.
signs from the universe do you need to kick the extra point?
And then getting fancy with sending the 3 guys out there. You know what? The ref was totally wrong. Handled it poorly. I think the ref should be reprimanded for that. But you know what? You played your little game and it backfired on you. All right. So you know what? Why don't you just see? Like, to me, like that's the problem I have with a lot of these modern coaches. They like getting fancy. And I know it's a sophisticated game and all the schemes and the X's and O's. But when it comes down to it, can you lead? Can you lead the group? Are you a football coach, right? And Sean McVay has proven himself as a football coach. So you go into games like this, and I bring this up over and over when we talk about postseason with the sports. I'm going with the experienced team, the team that won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, the team that has been on a roll, has played really good football down the stretch. They went into Baltimore, went to overtime. Like, that shows you a lot. I think the Rams are going to handle them. I'll say the Rams win it by a touchdown, 7, 8 points, something like that. But I think they're going to control the football game. And I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident in them winning.
I agree.
I'm hoping to see a high-scoring game. Honestly,
we will.
I think that honestly, I think both teams could probably get into the 30s. I mean, we saw that with like the Chargers and Lions this year. I think that was like 35-42 or something like that. That was a great game to watch. That was also the reason I had 200 points that week. But
That's enough fantasy football talk for one show. Although we should have fantasy football segments. We've talked about. We got to do that next season. Next season, you guys will have to come visit and talk fantasy football. Continue, Evan.
Oh yeah, but I love both these teams, honestly. But I have the Rams in this.
So let's go to the last game, and then we'll talk a little bit about the coaching thing, and then we got to move on to Jack's NBA segment. What did Jack say?
It's intriguing.
Intrigued by the conversation.
Oh, okay. All right, so the last game, the Philadelphia Eagles are a 3-point favorite.
Worst game of the weekend.
Oh my God.
They're going to Tampa Bay to play the NFC South champion, the Buccaneers. The Bucs come in at 9-8. They beat Carolina last week to get in the playoffs. Philadelphia got handled by the Giants last week. The Eagles finished the season at 11-6. They are the number 5 seed. They've obviously a better record than Tampa, but the division champion gets to host the game, which that's another topic. I think that's ridiculous, but it is what it is. I'm going to comment first on this game and then open the floor to you guys. I find this to be the most difficult game to pick of the weekend. I really don't know where to go with this game. The other games I'm pretty confident or very confident. The reason why this game's tricky is because the Eagles are a team where it's like they've been so bad and there's been signs all year with them. But a team like this that a lot of people are writing off, you'll see teams like this find something, whatever it is, and then all of a sudden they get going again. So I'm a little weary to pick against them because I think there's a chance of that, but I don't think it's going to happen. And I think Baker Mayfield and the Bucs are going to win this game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be back and forth. But ultimately, I think the Buccaneers are going to win this game. I think it's going to be something like 31-27.
I agree. Baker had a great year this year. Probably the better year that he's had, best year he's had of his career. And this Eagles team, don't forget, they were 10-1. They were the 1 seed. And you lost. You went 1-6, 1-5 in your last 6 games, but you could have easily been 0-6 in those games as well. You could have lost to the Giants easily on Christmas Day. So
they were up big, but they let the Giants back in there.
Exactly. So you could easily be 10-7, not even in this.
And the
playoff
Giants
picture.
started Tommy DeVito in that game. He played the first half.
He did.
I love the whole Tommy DeVito story, but
If Tyrod
Taylor's a better quarterback.
Yeah.
He's a better quarterback.
Absolutely.
So if he played that whole game, maybe the Giants win in Philadelphia too.
Exactly. So I'm going with the Bucs in this game too. Baker Mayfield and the Bucs knock the Eagles out at home. Love it.
One last point for me on the Eagles. I said this about
Sirianni's terrible.
what team did I say this about? Houston. They lost to the Jets. Just going to say that. They lost to the Jets.
I love the Eagles so much, but this second half of the season has been rough. I didn't even watch the end of the Cardinals game. That hurt me inside. I mean, AJ Brown starting off the season so amazingly, and then after like week 10, he just kind of shut off. I can't tell you what happened. Jalen Hurts just wasn't the same coming back from like his illness against the Cowboys or something like that. Then like I don't know. They're
Maybe they could just do the tush push every play and just
I
push Hurts
I mean,
down the field.
I mean, if they get like 3 yards per
I can't stand that
thing
play,
on
to be
that.
honest with you.
I have to agree with you.
I don't think it should be illegal. There's some people like saying they should ban
No,
it. There were rumors that Roger Goodell wants to ban it. Like, it should be legal.
I
I just find it annoying.
I think banning it is ridiculous, but it is a little like brainless, I guess. Like it's just,
I don't know why. I can't explain it. It annoys me, but I don't think it should be illegal.
I mean, it's like you kind of think you see all these like intricate plays, and then you kind of have a bunch of big guys push man. You know, like it's not really like that.
You know what bothers me about it? It's again like I appreciate the sophisticated parts of sports. I love it. You know, like baseball is a sport I know most. So baseball, I love the intricacies and the details. But then it comes down to the foundation of the game, the basics, the fundamentals. And you got coaches like Sirianni, and there's a lot of them now where it's like they like getting cute, right? They like, you know, tush push, this and that, and all this more, you know, sophisticated new stuff. That's fine. But when it comes down to it, can you lead your group? Can you coach? Right? And Sirianni, his team has collapsed. Now maybe they get it going here, but it's like look at this Philadelphia Eagles season. There's talk of him getting fired in his 3rd season. Like, who would have thought there'd be any talk of that with Sirianni? But it starts with him, and you know, obviously it starts even above him, but he's the leader on the field. He's the leader in the locker room. And that team is just collapsed. So, you know, there's all sorts of problems. We don't know the internals. We don't know if there's real problems in the locker room, guys not getting along. Like, I haven't heard anything about that. But, you know, it's a very obviously concerning situation for the Eagles. And, again, a little bit of me leaves the door open that maybe they get this turned around. And Tampa Bay is a good matchup for them. Like, if they were playing anybody else, like if they were going to Detroit, if they were going to Dallas, you know, I said like
They're easily been going to Dallas too.
yeah, if they were going to Dallas or Detroit, and they're not winning, but because they're going to Tampa, it's like, okay, they got a chance. But Baker Mayfield's a good NFL quarterback. You know, he's shown that he's tough. He's a winner. You know, not a high level winner. He hasn't shown that yet. But the guy's a good NFL quarterback, and I think Tampa Bay at home, you know, they're destroyed last year at home in the playoffs. I think that'll be a little bit of motivation for them, maybe. I think they're going to get a victory in this.
As much as I want to see the Eagles win, I'm honestly going to take the Bucks in this. I mean, just their key points of their offense are just like falling apart bit by bit. You've got and then you've got their defense. I mean, they just disappeared. I don't know where they went.
The defense has been terrible, and that's a huge thing. Like if you're playing defense the way they have, it's the more I think about it, like it's tough to make a case that they're going to get it going. I feel uncomfortable totally ruling them out, but if you're going to rule out any team in any situation, the Philadelphia Eagles and the way that this season has gone for them, it's like I understand if people say they're done, finished, no shot. I can understand if you take that approach with it.
I mean, if
or
you're
have
gonna,
that viewpoint.
if you're gonna like let up 35 points against the Arizona Cardinals, your defense.
Well, how about a contrast to two teams? Pittsburgh lost to Arizona, and I know they followed up and lost to New England, but Pittsburgh got themselves righted. And they did it with a backup quarterback, right? Where Philadelphia Eagles, they had their starting quarterback in there, and they lost to Arizona, and then they got crushed by the Giants. Now, the division was still on the line. I mean, Dallas was probably going to beat Washington, but they went into Week 18 against the Giants where the division was still alive, and they got trounced. Where Pittsburgh, to their credit, they bounced back from those two really bad home losses. They won 3 games in a row, made the playoffs. So you got that contrast there. Like, it shows you Mike Tomlin, right, able to motivate his team, able to gather his team and get them on the right course, and they'll go win 3 games, make the playoffs. Where Nick Sirianni and the Philadelphia Eagles, they just keep digging themselves more and more of a hole. So, quickly, predictions for your Final Four, Super Bowl, who wins the Super Bowl? Not even an explanation, just quickly your Final Four teams, your Super Bowl, your champion.
I don't have my Final Four. I have my Final 2.
Well, give us that.
Dallas Cowboys from the NFC, Cleveland Browns from the AFC. 35-30, the Cleveland Browns win their first Super Bowl with Joe Flacco under center.
My God. My God. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, and he beats the Ravens in the AFC Championship.
Yeah. So I'll just.
And the Cowboys beat the Niners in the. I remember this. The Niners beat the NFC
So
Championship.
stupid. And he turns off his mic. I'll give the safe common answer. I'm gonna say Ravens versus probably versus the Niners. I'll take the Ravens.
I'm gonna have to go with I want to say the Rams. Yeah, crazy pick, I know, but it's just been so exciting to watch them, and then probably like the Ravens for AFC, and I'm taking the Ravens.
Defense wins championships. Who's the best defense in the playoffs? The Cleveland Browns. Give it to me right now. Joe Flacco, you are a Super Bowl champion.
I got Buffalo in the AFC Championship game. I can't pick the Browns. Because it would be Browns over Ravens in the divisional round. Nah, I think Baltimore's going to get it done. I can see it being a great game. I'm going chalk in the AFC. I'm going Baltimore versus Buffalo. Man, it's tough. Baltimore, like if it's Baltimore and Buffalo, man, like I'm going Buffalo. I'm going Buffalo just with this season. As we talked about how it's gone, people saying their window was closed, now it's open again. I'm going to say Buffalo gets it done, gets back to the Super Bowl for the first time in about 3 decades. It's actually exactly 30 years. Last time they went was 93. So Buffalo in the NFC. The Rams are going to beat Detroit. So that means the Rams are going to play the Niners. You're going to have the Bucks playing the Cowboys. So there's a road for the Cowboys. I'm going with something crazy because I have to. The Cowboys are going to beat the Bucks. All right? So basically the Cowboys got 2 buys into the NFC Championship game. Sorry, Packers. So the Cowboys go to the NFC Championship game. Everybody with the Niners, the Niners, the Niners, the Niners, the Niners. So Lee Corso would say, not so fast. Los Angeles Rams.
Mascot on your head now, too?
I wish. Los Angeles Rams. Tim Figueredo, if you're watching. Mr. Pellegrino, big Rams fans. My Uncle Rich. I don't think Uncle Rich is watching. The Los Angeles Rams are going into San Francisco, and they're going to beat the San Francisco 49ers. You're then going to have the Los Angeles Rams against the Dallas Cowboys. And I am not picking the Dallas Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl because eventually the Dallas Cowboys will fall short because that's what they've done for 3 decades.
It's got to end at some point.
It's not ending this year. The Los Angeles Rams are going.
When's it end this year? When's it end?
The Los
pain
Angeles
continues.
Rams are going to the Super Bowl. They're going to play the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills are going to win their first Super Bowl ever.
Look, if it
In
doesn't,
I think probably a great Super Bowl.
Wowee.
if it doesn't end this year, when's it end? Because your window is
I
closing.
hope it never.
You've been
I hope,
great for years.
I hope it never
no,
ends.
But let me finish.
But
You've been great for years, okay? You need to do something about it at some point, and this is it. This is the best team they've been in a long time.
and they have. I didn't mean to disrespect your
I
Packers.
hate the Dallas
I
Cowboys.
mean, it's okay.
I
I mean,
hate
like,
them.
I'm
I'm
hold
going
on.
into the
Still
game with no
defending it.
expectations.
I'm very high in the Packers. It's just because the Packers are in
You were still young.
that retooling phase
Yeah.
that I'm calling it kind of like it's not a bye. I'm exaggerating, but it's like a semi-bye. The Bucks in the second round in Dallas, that's a bye.
Yeah.
Okay, so they got a double bye into the NFC Championship games. I'm not giving any credit for that road. They're going there. So the first real playoff game that they got to play, they're playing the team that won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, the team that's on a roll, the team that has arguably the best coach in the NFL. They have Stafford. They have everything they need. Los Angeles is going to Dallas, and they're going to take it to them. They're going to win that game after they beat San Francisco.
Stop.
Buffalo, Los Angeles, and I'm going with Buffalo.
San Francisco.
I'm going with Buffalo getting over the hump and winning their first Super Bowl.
I mean, it's hard to bet
Rams,
against.
Bills?
Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to bet against people like the Ravens and the Niners, but I think that's some of the excitement of football, is upsets like that. I mean, and to talk a little bit on the Cowboys, they haven't been to a conference championship since 1995, and that was the year they won it all. So I'm saying they make one good run, they win a Super Bowl, they don't come back till 2058. I can't see them.
That's one way to look at it.
I have zero confidence in.
Come on,
playoff
Mike
success
McCarthy
for-
versus Sean McVay.
Give me McCarthy, football guy.
Stop it.
I-
See, I think McVay is a football guy. See, this is why I love McVay. I think he is, I don't use the word perfect, but he is as good a combination you're going to get of the old school and new school. He's not Mike McDaniel, Mr. New School, thinks he's the smartest guy in the world, and he's not. Okay? McVay is just as smart as him, maybe smarter, and he's a football guy. Like, he's, to me, he's the quintessential head coach. Right? And the Rams have a really good program. They're a program. They're a really good program and organization. Okay? So I'm taking them over Dallas. I don't know how you trust the Dallas Cowboys.
I don't, but I think it's
Who do you have Dallas playing in the NFC Championship?
The Niners.
They're not. They're beating the Niners in San Francisco.
But the Rams are?
Yes.
How?
I'm not. Look, it'd be a pretty big upset. I have more confidence in the Rams going to beat San Francisco than
huge
Dallas.
I think it'd be a huge upset if they
You-
beat the Niners.
You really think that Dallas has more of a chance going to San Francisco and win than Los Angeles does?
Absolutely.
Yes.
No.
I think that if it's a regular season game, hey, yeah, I think Dallas can go there and put up a good fight against the Niners, but
They won't even beat them in the regular season, but they're not doing it in the postseason.
no chance,
Unbelievable.
no shot.
Rams, Bills.
That's
What's so outrageous?
Oh, this is the same
That's
guy
so
that
good.
said Jaguars, Giants.
What was your preseason Super Bowl?
I don't remember. Better than that.
So, but I keep records of my picks, and I own them. I own my terrible picks, and then I will mention my really good picks, too. Tony's pointing to us about the time. What time is it? It is 3:42. Jack, are you coming on talking basketball? Yeah, let's get Jack some NBA time.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we didn't get to the coaching moves and the changes. There's a lot there. So next week we will definitely get it. There's so much to talk about. That's going to be a great segment, great conversation. So we'll hold off till next week. So Jack's going to come in. He's going to talk some NBA. The Knicks are on a roll. Lots of excitement. The Garden, the Knicks, and the Rangers. So NBA talk with Jack and with Tony. We take a short break. Come back with us.
Perfect.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NBA segment of In the Vault. I'm your host, Jack Jablanowicz, joined by Tony. So I got my first thing to talk about in the NBA is Darko Rajakovic went off on the free throw attempts from the Lakers when they got
Yes, he
23 to
did.
3. Free throw disparity in the fourth quarter. It was 23 to 3.
Yeah, I gotta say, this was one of the funniest NBA-related videos
Oh,
in
the best.
a very long time.
Use Taylor Jenkins, the Memphis coach. He went on there. I think that I'll give that one a 4 out of 10. But that one from Darko, I think there could be better, but it's 9 out of 10. Because he said Scotty Barnes is the face of the league. So that kind of knocked it down like a knock. But besides that, I love the rant.
You know what? I gotta say this. You can't really blame the guy
No.
for having a reaction like that. I mean, I think he speaks for the entire franchise with that kind of reaction. I mean,
He
they
speaks
have,
for the entire league. He speaks for the entire league.
Yeah.
I
There's been a lot of big complaints about that type of stuff recently, and I think that's just another good example of it.
Do you think that the Lakers get favored in this more than often?
You know, that's something a lot of people say, and you
'Cause I
know,
don't see the Knicks getting favored in any of these games. I don't see the Celtics. Like, you can't say that. I think it's just at that time they just call bad calls. I'm not saying the Lakers get favored. LeBron could. If you put LeBron as, like, you know, that thing that gets favored, but I don't see the Knicks getting favored. I don't see the Celtics getting favored. Sometimes the Celtics get
Little
favored.
bit,
Sometimes,
little bit.
but sometimes that. I mean, refs are human, but like, look, I think it's just LeBron. It's just somebody who, I know the Jason Tatum thing, but besides that, it's been LeBron just getting whatever he wants. Besides that Tatum one.
I mean, you know what? I don't think you're entirely wrong. I'll be honest. I don't know. It's one of those topics where we'll never really know for sure. So I think I don't know. We'll see what happens in the future of that. Maybe the NBA looks into it a little bit just because of the amount of complaints that have been going on for it. But I see what you mean.
Yeah, that's tough. I loved it. I mean, you're a coach. You're supposed to stand up for your guys. That's what a coaching is. That's also a part of coaching, is standing up for your guys.
Switching to this.
Standing up for your guys. That's why, you know, Tom Thibodeau said something and Jalen Brunson didn't say anything, because what a coach's supposed to do is stand up for his guys. If he thinks his franchise point guard, a superstar point guard, is getting hit too much, then yes, Thibodeau should say something. Like that. It's Brunson's job to say something. It's Thibodeau's job to say something. That's why he's the coach.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But there's another question here that I find really interesting. You wrote, do the Warriors need to start turning their offense tradition to win?
Traditional.
Traditional. To win a championship.
I'm going to put this more. My thing is they run a lot of ball screens. They run each other around. Not ball screens, off ball screens a lot. Like these are guys who are probably on the last legs of their like productive NBA career, and Klay Thompson and I guess Steph, but like I feel like I want to see more on-ball screens for Stephen Curry. Not go two, but I need the defense to be reacting from help side. Like, I can't just have 20,000 ball screens in one play. Like, it doesn't work anymore.
Here's the thing. You know, the Warriors, I think you would agree with me on this, and a lot of people would. In our lifetime, I don't think we've seen a team better than the Warriors in the late 2010s, and just the absolute force that they were for so many years, leading up till maybe around 2022 when they won that last championship. I think their mentality is, if it seems to be working and they've won more championships than any other team in the past 10 years or so, I think what they're thinking is, let's just keep it going.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
But
Exactly.
it broke. It broke. It's done. They broke. They lost by 40. They lost by 30 last night to the Pelicans. Shout out to the Pelicans. I really like them, but you lost by 30 to Pelicans. You're losing by 20 to the rebuilding Toronto Raptors. It broke. If you're a coach, you need to make adjustments. I know you're laughing, but if you're a coach, you need to make adjustments as a coach. If you're losing by 20 to Scotty Barnes, R.J. Barrett, and Emmanuel Quickly.
But do you think the adjustments have to be that big where it really changes the entire offense, or do you think they just minor tweaks just to kind of to really get it down right and just tweak it a little bit?
First of all, there's going to be trades that need to be made. I think that then you get
As?
DeJounte Murray, but I want the Knicks to get him before. But
Of course.
No. I don't. I have my whole thing. But DeJounte Murray to the Lakers, he would have that kind of on the ball, so you could slowly transition into traditional basketball. When you have another on-ball player, he's the best one on the market besides him and Brogdon are the most on-the-ball players in the market right now, I think.
Let me ask you, who do you think they'd have to give up for a player like DeJounte Murray?
I think they got to cut their ties on Klay Thompson. They got.
Oh my!
I think no. I don't know who would want Klay Thompson. That's my only problem.
It's not even that. I feel like Steph and Klay Thompson are untouchable. I think it's like a loyalty thing.
No, I think they just came out with this. I think they just came out with this thing. I don't know, but it just feels like I feel like the feeling of like this team is like everyone is available but Steph Curry. That's what I'm getting a feeling of. I'm getting a feeling of that, and that's what they should do. And I feel like they bring in a new GM this offseason. Bob Myers stepped down. Shout out to him. I think he's a Washington Commanders something now. But, he stepped down, so I feel like it's Mike Dunleavy's job now. And he has no attachments to Klay Thompson. Yes, he understands the dynasty, but all this man wants to do is build a better team.
Right. No, I see your point completely.
And why Bob Myers left is because he didn't want to break it up. He didn't want to break it up himself.
I think a team that is in a very similar situation could be the Lakers, right? I mean, besides LeBron and Anthony Davis, everyone's just kind of everyone's up for grabs.
Also, the Warriors, no contribution from Andrew Wiggins at all.
True. Yeah.
No contributions. But my question was, how are the Lakers wasting such a amazing year from LeBron and AD? Like, how do you waste that?
I got to say, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, this is their best season in a while, maybe 2 or 3 seasons. Anthony Davis, when he's on, he is very much on. He is
defensively and offensively.
I mean, he maybe at his best, he's a top 5 player, definitely top 10 player in the league when he's on for a game.
He's one of the most. He's going to be up there for the most when he's on. He's going to be up there for the most dominant player of all time. Like, up there. Because his offense and his defense. Because dominance defensively. Because the whole team funnels into AD. He just has that defensive versatility, defense and offense. I know you're like looking at me like, we know these all dominant players like Shaq. But I think Shaq's more dominant, of course. But you look at defense and offense. Shaq was a good defender, but you look at the versatility that AD has.
Can shoot. Can play defense, can play inside. I mean, there's really nothing that Anthony Davis can't do great when he's on. And it's funny because earlier today, I was in a debate with someone who didn't think he was a top 100 player of all time.
Well,
I personally think he is.
To be fair, are they saying like health-wise? But he has proven enough to me that he should be top 100. He won a ring. He's been one of the most dominant defense players I've ever seen.
Of the,
I'm
of the
only-
2010s. I mean, you look at the best
Yeah.
players of the 2010s. I mean, he's in the top 15. You know, he's
Him and Bron have been one of the best pick and roll duos I think this season. I mean, I've been watching
Unstoppable.
film on them. They look really well when they're running that pick and roll. I want to also talk about why. Like I think we really scraped over that, but why? Because they're running pin down for Torian Prince. That doesn't work. Torian Prince is a guy that you bring off the bench if you need him for 3-point shooting and defense. But they went with, and Darvin Ham's also, I'm not calling for him his job here, but he is. I have a lot of faith for him for being an assistant coach, and I think Milwaukee, I think he's a very good coach, but like, just his rotations right now are just, I mean, it's not something I would think from Darvin Ham.
I'm not sure in this moment that he is a coach that can lead a team to a championship or help lead a team to a championship. I don't really see it. I don't think I saw it really from the beginning, but
he's definitely he lost the locker room. He didn't lose the locker room, but just the locker room's all in like shock of what he's doing with his rotations.
Right.
It's not like what Thibodeau has a little bit of mistake in his rotations, or no one's like shocked. Like they know, like no one's like RJ Barrett's not like shocked that he's going back in. Like he knows it. That was before the trade. Like Quickly's not shocked he's going out. Like they're not all shocked. Like he just lost the locker room. Not like literally like he hasn't, like other people would think lost the locker room. It's just his adjustments and just everybody's just so confused of like what's happening. Like,
it's a rough situation. I mean, lots of moves are going to have to be made to get them out of this. And I mean, for Lakers fans, you're just hoping for the best. You're hoping you get more good years out of LeBron, more years of AD playing, and
also Cam Reddish doesn't shoot the ball way better. He's been not like starting Jared Vanderbilt at the 4 is one of the worst decisions you can make. Jared Vanderbilt, he's at his best. He's a great defensive player, but we saw him last year get played right out of the playoffs because you would just throw big at him and you play him right out of the playoffs. That's what he did for the last year. You could just play him right out of the playoffs and with the shooting. So what does Darvin Ham do? He plays him again.
well, now let me ask you: if you're the Lakers, who are you targeting come trade deadline time?
I need any shooting I can possibly get. If we can match a contract with Levine, I know Levine has no market, but if you can match a contract and use Levine's leverage that he has none, that you could just match a contract and throw in like a second. I think that if they try their best to make LeBron have a second ring in LA, they don't care. They're going to throw anything they have. They're going to throw everything they have.
They'll get rid of anyone.
But AD and LeBron. But AD and LeBron's the foundation of this team because they won't get rid of AD because he already proven that they can win a championship together. So there's no giving up AD.
Yeah,
They'll give up Cam Reddish, But
yeah.
they'll walk him out.
I don't know. It's weird because we're at a time where, at a point in time where lots of super groups are being made still, but they're not working out. It's interesting. You look at the Suns.
Because they're all.
You look at the old Nets team
because
from a few
you
years
know
ago,
why
the
these super
Sixers.
groups go together?
No chemistry.
We wouldn't see Giannis. Like, look at this three. We wouldn't see Giannis, Embiid, and just throwing a point guard, Trae Young go together right now because they're not tradable right now. Maybe there's a chance we see that later with those three type players because they're old. You can only make those trades when they're old, and that's just injuries happen.
It's a good point. Yeah.
Okay. Just injuries happen. Talent-wise, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker's amazing. But, injuries, defense, there's all this stuff. Role players, you have no flexibility around them. Contract. Bradley Beal's on an awful contract right now that they can't get out of. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Do you have anything else to say?
No. I think you made a lot of really good points. Yeah.
So that's going to do it for this NBA segment. Stay tuned for the Union Catholic game versus the team, versus another team. But Union Catholic varsity will be playing next.